You're listening to English Podcast, a space created to help you grow with engaging stories and authentic conversations.
Take it easy, enjoy every episode, and improve your English with confidence.
Support us with your like and subscription. Let's imagine a quiet street, lined with cherry blossom trees. Petals drift down like pink snow. This is where our story takes place, on a street called Harmony Way. It's a fitting name, don't you think? Because it's all about how people connect.
It sounds lovely. Lined with means there are trees all along the street. And fitting means appropriate or suitable. So Harmony Way is a suitable name for a street where people become friends.
Exactly. Our main character is a young man named Alex. He's just moved into a small, cozy house on Harmony Way. Cozy means comfortable and warm. He's a bit shy, but he's hoping to make some new friends in his new neighborhood.
I think many people can relate to that feeling of wanting to make friends when they move somewhere new. It can be a little daunting, right? Daunting means intimidating or a little scary.
Absolutely. Now, across the street from Alex lives Mrs. Gable. She's an elderly woman known for her beautiful garden, bursting with colorful flowers and plump vegetables. She's lived on Harmony Way for decades, and she's seen neighbors come and go.
She sounds like a lovely character. Decades means periods of 10 years. So, she's been there a long time and probably knows everyone. I wonder what their first encounter will be like.
So, the next morning, I decided to be brave. I baked some cookies, a classic welcome gesture. I even looked up the word, welcome, in my English dictionary to make sure I was using it correctly. It means to greet someone arriving in a new place in a friendly way.
That's a great idea. Baking cookies is a universal language of kindness, I think. And using a dictionary is a fantastic habit for language learners. Did you use a paper dictionary or an online one?
I used an online dictionary, much faster. Anyway, with my warm, freshly baked cookies, I walked over to her apartment. My heart was pounding in my chest. I felt really nervous, even though it was just a simple act of saying hello.
I can understand that. Meeting new people can be nerve-wracking. Nerve-wracking means something that makes you feel very nervous. So, what happened when you knocked on her door?
She opened it, a little surprised to see me. She had bright, smiling eyes, and a warm, friendly face. She was wearing a paint-splattered apron, and her hands were covered in what looked like clay. She seemed a bit artistic.
Artistic? That's interesting. So, maybe she's a painter or a sculptor. Sculptor is someone who creates three-dimensional art, often using clay or stone. Did she invite you in?
She did. Her apartment was filled with fascinating sculptures and paintings. Some abstract, some realistic, a real mix. Abstract art is art that doesn't represent a specific object, it uses shapes and colors to express feelings and ideas. And realistic, well, is the opposite, it tries to portray things as they are in real life.
Wow, sounds like a very creative space. It must have been interesting to see her work. What did you talk about? Did you manage to use your welcome correctly? Did you get to offer her the cookies?
Yes, I did. I finally managed to say, welcome to the building. It felt a bit awkward at first, but she was so nice about it. She invited me in and offered me some tea. We talked for a bit, and I learned her name is Anya. And yes, she loved the cookies. So, to quickly recap what's happened so far in our story, Sarah, a young woman, has just moved into a new apartment. She's a bit shy, a little hesitant to meet new people. And her new neighbor, an older gentleman named Mr. Garcia, seems a bit eccentric, maybe even a little grumpy.
Exactly. He's got this huge, overgrown garden that's kind of wild. It's full of unusual plants and it seems a bit neglected, like he doesn't take care of it much. But Sarah loves gardening, so she sees potential there. She's curious about him and his garden.
They've had a couple of brief, slightly awkward encounters. Remember the incident with the runaway watering can? It rolled down the steps and Sarah had to chase after it, bumping into Mr. Garcia. It was quite comical. Comical means funny, in a lighthearted way.
Yes, and he just kind of grumbled and went back inside. He didn't seem very friendly, which made Sarah even more unsure about how to approach him. She's wondering if he's just a grumpy old man or if there's more to him than meets the eye. Meets the eye means what you see at first glance.
Right, so, Sarah's been trying to pluck up the courage to talk to him properly. To pluck up the courage means to find the bravery to do something. She's thinking about offering to help him with his garden, but she's worried he might be offended.
Then, one afternoon, Sarah spots Mr. Garcia struggling to carry a heavy bag of potting soil. That's the soil you use to plant things in pots. It looks really heavy, and he's clearly having a hard time.
This gives Sarah the perfect opportunity to break the ice. Break the ice means to start a conversation and make things less awkward. She decides to offer her help. Sarah takes a deep breath and calls out, "Mr. Garcia. Do you need a hand with that?" She hurries down the steps towards him.
Mr. Garcia looks up, surprised. He seems a little hesitant at first, but then he manages a small smile. "Oh, hello there," he says, his voice a little raspy. "That's very kind of you, young lady." Sarah helps him carry the heavy bag to his front door. She notices he's breathing heavily, and she's a bit worried about him. He seems quite frail, which means weak or delicate.
So, remember the word, hesitant, we used earlier? Sarah was hesitant to knock again, worried she might seem too pushy. Pushy means overly assertive or forceful, trying too hard to get someone to do something. But she took a deep breath and decided to give it one more try.
And another word we used, reluctantly, describes how the door finally opened. Mr. Peterson opened it just a crack, reluctantly, as if he wasn't expecting or wanting any visitors. He seemed surprised to see Sarah still standing there, a nervous smile on her face.
He peeked his head out, looking a bit bewildered. Bewildered means confused and uncertain. He obviously wasn't used to having neighbors drop by. "Is there something I can help you with?" he asked, his voice quiet and a little shaky.
Sarah held up the basket, a bright, genuine smile replacing her nervous one. "I just wanted to welcome you to the neighborhood," she said. "I baked some cookies." She explained that she was from the house next door, the one with the blooming sunflowers he'd admired. It's important to be friendly and welcoming, right? It helps build good relationships.
Absolutely, and her kind gesture seemed to break through Mr. Peterson's reserved demeanor. Demeanor refers to someone's outward behavior or the way they present themselves. His face softened, and a small smile appeared. He seemed to relax a little, opening the door wider.
He still seemed a little shy, though. He thanked her for the cookies, accepting the basket with a mumbled, "That's very kind of you." Sarah felt a pang of sympathy for him. He seemed so lonely. Maybe he just needed a little encouragement, a friendly face to show him he wasn't alone.
And that brings us to our last word, encouragement. Sarah decided she wouldn't give up on Mr. Peterson. She knew what it was like to feel isolated and out of place. She was determined to make him feel welcome, offering a bit of encouragement and friendship.
She invited him to join her for tea in her garden the next day. "It's a lovely day to sit outside," she suggested, her tone warm and inviting. To her surprise and immense pleasure, Mr. Peterson agreed. A small, hopeful smile played on his lips as he accepted her invitation.
Okay, let's recap the story so far. Remember, recap means to summarize. Amelia, a shy artist, moved into a new apartment and was nervous about meeting her neighbors. She's quite introverted, meaning she prefers being alone.
Right. And then there was a power outage, a blackout, in the building. This forced Amelia to leave her apartment. It was quite a predicament, a difficult situation.
Exactly. In the dimly lit hallway, she bumped into her neighbor, Mrs. Rodriguez, an elderly woman known for her vibrant, colorful garden. Vibrant means bright and full of life.
Mrs. Rodriguez was carrying a lantern, which gave Amelia some comfort. They started talking, and Amelia discovered Mrs. Rodriguez was just as nervous about the dark as she was. This helped Amelia feel less alone.
They bonded over their shared fear and discovered a mutual love for painting. Mutual means they both felt the same way. Remember, Amelia is an artist.
Yes, and Mrs. Rodriguez invited Amelia to paint with her in her garden once the power was back on. Amelia hesitantly, meaning with some doubt, agreed, feeling a spark of hope at the possibility of a new friendship.
This was a big step for Amelia, as she usually avoids social interactions.
The next day, Amelia visited Mrs. Rodriguez's garden. It was even more beautiful in daylight, filled with flowers of every color imaginable. Imagine, to picture something in your mind.
They spent the afternoon painting and chatting, discovering they had a lot in common. Amelia felt a warmth she hadn't felt in a long time. She was starting to overcome her shyness.
And as they painted, their conversation flowed naturally, like the paint on their canvases. They talked about their lives, their dreams, and their fears. Canvas is the material artists paint on.
Amelia learned that Mrs. Rodriguez had lost her husband a few years ago and had been feeling lonely ever since. Lonely, feeling sad because you are alone.
And Mrs. Rodriguez discovered that Amelia had moved to the city to pursue her art career but had been struggling to find inspiration and connection. Inspiration, something that gives you new ideas.
Through their shared love of art, they found comfort and companionship in each other's company.
So, in the end, a simple power outage led to an unexpected friendship. Amelia, initially hesitant and shy, found a kind and understanding neighbor in Mrs. Rodriguez.
And Mrs. Rodriguez, who had been feeling isolated and alone, found a new friend and a renewed sense of purpose in sharing her passion for painting. Renewed, to make something fresh or strong again. A wonderful story about connection. Thanks for listening to English Boost. Remember, practice a little every day and you'll see big results. See you in the next episode.